Hey guys, I'm David with Media Unlocked, and today we're talking about lenses. And one of the biggest thing about lenses are, if you are going to buy a Canon T2i or T3i, do you want to get a kit lens or do you want to get an aftermarket lens? And the easiest answer for that is, if you have the money, about $400 or $500 left over after you buy the body, then yes, you want to get an aftermarket lens. But if you don't have the money, go on and get a kit lens, because you really can't get a great or decent lens for really under $300 to $350. So if you don't have that extra money to buy that aftermarket lens, then I would go on and just get the kit and the body. But if you're going to have the money soon after you buy the body, by all means, getting the aftermarket lens is always a smarter bet than getting a kit lens. I have the 18 to 55 IS that came with my Canon T2i. Don't use it whatsoever. It just sits in the bag, really. So there's my philosophy on aftermarket or kit lenses, but we're kind of going to jump into L-series lenses here, and we're going to talk a little bit about what are the good lenses to get, why do you want to go with Canon over Sigma or Tamron, or why do you want to go with Sigma or Tamron over Canon. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So the L-series lenses are by far the best lenses on the market, in my opinion. Now, they're great lenses. They're very expensive though, and that's the problem with the L-series lenses. So, say you've got $2,000 to spend. What do you want to get? What do you want to get L-series wise? I would go on and pick up the 7200 IS version 1. I think the version 2 is like $2,400. They also make a 17 to 55. There's a 24 to 70, all 2.8s, and then they have some nice fixed lenses. Another lens that I really like that the L-series puts out, it's an f4. And I think they make a 2.8 version as well, is the 17 to 40 millimeter. That is an amazing lens. It kind of curves your picture a little bit. Now that's only really going to work on the 5D Mark II because it's full frame, where ours are crop censored, so we have a smaller frame in our camera. Therefore, the 17 to 40 is probably going to be like a 25 to 50 or something like that. I don't know the exact mathematical equation there to give you the exact, what it is, but anything that is, all these numbers like the 7200, 17 to 40, 17 to 55, that's all for full frame sensors. So when we get it, then it's even smaller. Like I'm shooting right now with the 10 to 22. Now that's a 10 to 22 on a full frame sensor. But on my camera, it's really, I believe a 16 to 35 is what I'm shooting with, versus a 10 to 22. So that's something you need to understand about crop censored lenses, is that, or crop censored cameras, is that the lenses that you put on it are not exactly what they say they are. They're like that, or they're those dimensions, that 10 to 22 on a full frame, but not on a crop censored. But we'll get into that another day. So I think there are 3 main lenses every photographer should have. Actually 4 main lenses that every photographer should have. You need a 50mm 1.4. You could get the 1.8, but I say go on and get the 1.4. It's worth the extra, I think, like $150 to $200. It'd be nice to get the 7200 IS version, or Sigma and Tamron, and I'll show you their lenses here in a second. They make a 7200 that's actually pretty decent for the price, because Canon's L-series lenses and their 7200 is very expensive, and not everybody has that kind of cash sitting around. Then a 17 to 55 is a great lens, and a 25 to 70, or Tamron has like a 28 to 75, and those are all 2.8 lenses. The objective here is to get lenses that the lower the light, they can handle the lower the light. So a 3.5 is what I think I'm shooting on. 3.5 to 5. That 3.5 is as low as my aperture will go on this lens. Where I really want to get something that could go to 2.8, or if I get like a fixed lens, because you're really not going to find a zoom lens under 2.8, okay? But you can get fixed lenses, and that's like the 50mm, 105mm, 85mm, and those will go down to like 1.2, 1.4, where you can really get great shots in low light. And that's the whole objective, and that's why lenses cost so much more when you get down to 2.8, 1.8, 1.4, 1.2. I've even seen some 1.0. I've seen a 50mm 1.0 that I want to say Leica makes, but it's like $5,000. It's an amazing looking lens though. I think I would have a lot of fun if I ever got my hands on one. So as you can see here, these are some of the L-series lenses. Now Amazon is probably one of my favorite places to look at lenses, because you can get really good deals. If you notice, they give you like the full price. So like to buy the 24 to 105 f4, it's $1,100 brand new. But then there are used ones, and you can actually, as you can see here on Amazon, you can actually see how much like a used version one is, or there's new ones as well, and they're a little bit cheaper than what Amazon's selling theirs for. As well, there are stars, so you can see what people thought of it. There's 206 reviews of this lens, so I can actually go in and read about the lens and get a good idea if this is a lens I want to buy or not. So that's one really cool thing about Amazon that I absolutely love, is that you can really do your research really well on Amazon with their lenses. People leave comments, you can read about it, see if it's the type of lens that you want, if it's for you. You can also see prices, and then you can get even better deals on your lenses, because sometimes it's better to go on and get a used lens if you can't afford a brand new one than go on and buy a used one. So and then there's Sigma. Here's another company that does lenses, and they do pretty good. There's really only one lens I would buy from Sigma, though. I'm not a huge Sigma fan. I've had them in the past. I wasn't extremely happy with them. They make a really good 7200. Now their 7200 used to run about $800. It's gone up. It's right around $1,000 now. Looks like you can get a used one for $875 right here. So the Sigma 7200 is really the only lens I would buy from Sigma. Now Tamron makes some, I think, some great lenses. Their 70 to 50 is a really nice lens. It gets a lot of good reviews. I haven't shot with it. I have shot with their 70 or 28 to 75 2.8. Again, that's a $350 lens, but for what it is, Canon, you cannot tell that big of a difference between the Canon and the Tamron. So the Canon L series, and I think theirs is a 24 to 70, where the Tamron's is 28 to 75. So that's probably going to be my next purchase, is the Tamron 28 to 75 will probably be the next lens that I buy. And you know, you can pick it up for like $384, as you can see right here. So it's not too bad. And then the third company that I want to talk about and is Tokina, if I'm saying that right. Now, I don't know much about them, so I'm not going to sit here and try to talk about them that much. But from what I gather is they make a lot of weird lenses. Like a, let's see what they got over here. They got like a 12 to 24 f4. It's $550. But they make these like lenses that Canon, Sigma, and Tamron they don't make, far as like they just make these weird millimeter lenses. Let's see what else they have. They're like a 16.5 to 135. I mean, it's just like they just come up with things that Canon, Sigma, and Tamron don't have. So if you're looking to get that right angle, that right zoom, check Tokina out. Sorry, check Tokina out and see what you think, because I think they're pretty good. Again, you could just type all this stuff into Amazon search bar like you see up here, and you can do a little bit of research on your lenses. And this is really the easiest and best way. And this is where I've learned a lot of my information about lenses, by reading people's reviews and seeing if that's the type of lens I want to get. Again, the three best lenses in my opinion to get, or four best lenses, is a nice 50mm, a nice 17 to 55, a nice 24 to 70, or in Tamron's situation, a 28 to 75. And then 7200 is almost a must-have, and I need to pick one up. I just haven't got around to it due to the fact that they're pretty expensive. But a 7200 is just an amazing lens. I worked with them numerous times. When I need to use them, I usually just go rent. There's a local camera store, so I mostly just rent the lenses I need, because I don't have the extra cash to go out and buy them. So just leave comments, leave me a message down, send me messages or leave comments, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions about lenses. Hopefully I answered a few questions. I know a couple people out there were sending me a lot of comments and messages asking about lenses, and then they were asking, you know, should I get the kit lens, should I not? Get the kit lens if you can, if you're not going to be able to afford the aftermarket one for quite a while. But if you can afford an aftermarket lens, buy the body, order an aftermarket lens. That's really the smart thing to do here. Again, check us out on Twitter, DAVIDDIMAGES. I do a lot of posting on Twitter, so you can kind of keep up with what's going on. I also have a Facebook. That's where I upload all my new pictures. I just got quite a few new pictures I put up last week. So check us out on Facebook at DAVIDDIMAGES. Like us if you don't mind. Anyways, you guys have a great day, and hopefully this helped you out.